So 40 marks, public sector accounting and finance, and A said we should prepare
40 marks. For one.
Yes.
Wow.
Prepare in accordance with the financial laws of Ghana, the chart of government and relevant accrual basis IPSAS, suitable for publication, the following statements. A. The statement of financial performance of the consolidated fund accounts for the year ended 31st December 2017, 10 marks. B. The statement of financial position of the consolidated fund accounts as of the year ended 31st December 2017, 10 marks. Complete schedules or schedule of workings to support the figures in the statement of financial performance and statement of financial position. It means the workings you're going to be doing, that's also 10 marks, and that's a good news. So we're going to be starting with the C aspect, the workings, that's 10 marks, before you come to the statement. Then D, it says, present 5 arguments for or against the adoption of accrual basis IPSAS by the government of Ghana. It simply means the advantages and disadvantages of what? The adoption of IPSAS in relation to that. So, it's a fair question. Let's see how it goes. So let's go up, read out the question, and let's see the preamble. The government of Ghana has adopted the full accrual basis International Public Sector Accounting Standards, IPSAS, as the basis of accounting for its financial statement for the year ended 31st December 2017. Right, so let's look at it. The following balances were transactions during the year ended to the consolidated fund accounts for the year ended 31st December 2017. So we've been given the trial balance, and you must know what each of them are. We have the debit side, the credit side. Usually the things on the credit side are income and debts. Usually the things on the credit side are income and debts.
Yeah, the credit side.
Yeah, the credit side. Income and debts.
The credit, that's not one.
Credit. No, that.
Yeah. We send the original.
Then the things on the debit side are usually expenses.
Assets.
Or assets. Yes, expenses or assets. So we've been given the trial balance. Then we were also given the following additional information is available. Opening balances extracted from the ledger of the consolidated fund consisted of the following. So we've
Debit side
assets or and expenses. So we've been given the opening balances for depreciation, infrastructure, property, cash and cash equivalents, those things. That's the note I. Note II says during the year, Parliament of Ghana approves a transfer of 10% of total tax revenue to the District Assembly Common Fund. Alright, so we will deal with the notes one after the other. We just wanted to find an idea about that. Okay, so let's go and start with the workings. A lot of things will be going down here. So notes, and actually this is the C aspect of the question. The notes we are doing is the C aspect, and it's 10 marks. Because in the C for the question, what does it say there?
Complete schedule of workings to support the figures in the statement of financial performance and statement of financial position.
That's right. So what do? We do a lot of workings. The first one, we're going to deal first with the tax revenues. And that will be divided into two. We have direct tax, indirect tax. So let's first deal with direct tax. So go back to the trial balance and let's go. What are we dealing with? Ghana cedis in million or in thousand? In million. Okay. So go back to the trial balance. What's the first item there?
No, I think it's in thousand.
It's not in anything. There is nothing about. Yeah, so it's not in anything. Okay? We just bring the currency there. What's the first item there? Now, I want you to focus on it very well. One thing that will make you struggle in the exam or about public sector is your inability to classify the items as this or that. So make sure you...
Debit or credit?
No, this or that means whether you are going to classify it as direct tax, indirect tax, goods and services, employment benefits, interest, those items. Those items.
And I also want, just like the Consolidated, I also want to know how, in the like when you're picking these and those kind of things.
Yeah, so that is how the workings is going to be. So we're going to be picking the items one after the other and build our workings into it. So first, corporate income tax. What is that? That's an example of direct tax, isn't it? That's an example of direct tax. Because taxes on companies' income, how much do we have?
645,000.
So that's the first item. Second item there is what? Custom and excise duties. What is that?
It's
An indirect tax. So I go to my second slide, II, and I do indirect tax.
what makes it indirect tax?
Because customs is an indirect tax. It's on imported exportation of goods and services, so it's an indirect tax.
So the direct tax is what?
Direct taxes are tax levied on income on businesses or companies. So your payee is a direct tax. Corporate tax is a direct tax.
And your tax that you pay. The tax you pay. Personal income tax.
Yes, the personal income tax. So custom and excise duties. How much do we have?
750.
750,000. What else?
Value added tax.
That one is indirect tax. All at that. How much?
450.
450,000. Next one. Employee income tax. What is that?
Another direct tax.
Direct tax. So, KE. How much? 340,000.
Value added tax. Why is it indirect?
VAT is indirect because VAT is levied on goods and services. It's an indirect tax. Fees and charges for services. That's an expenditure item. So that goes under a working score, goods. No, which side is it on? It's on the credit side, right? So that's non-tax revenue. So non-tax revenue. You gotta be careful. When I say non-tax revenue, it will be too broad. So let me make it like this. Other revenues. Because grant is there. So other non-tax revenue. Classification is very important here. Because you are using the government of Ghana's classification, you must take that into consideration. So fees and charges for services. In other words, the government services that they do, the fees and the things they charge, how much?
320.
320,000. So when you go to DVLA for renewal of your license, registration of your car, that money goes to the consolidated fund. That's what we mean by fees and charges. If you go to the government hospital, when you pay money, it should go there. That's it. Next item is what? Dividend income. That will also come here, the dividend that we receive. Actually, these could come as a separate item on the face of the financial performance, but we could also bring it under the other revenues. How much? 120,000. What else?
We have multilateral grants.
Okay, so that will be note 4 or workings 4, grants. Okay? Remember there are two forms of grants. There are grants that the central government pays, like the one to the Consolidated Fund. That's an District Assembly Common Fund. That's an expenses. And then the grants that the government receives, that's an income. So multilateral How much we got?
140.
140,000. What else?
Bilateral.
Bilateral. How much?
230.
230. What else?
570.
Well, the more here, I'm trying to get the understanding. So the grants, we said we have two forms. One goes to the government pays one.
Yeah, well, from the consolidated fund, the district assembly common fund contribution is a grant,
Okay.
and that is an expenses to the to the local government.
From the central government to the local.
That's from the central government to the local government. So that's an expenses. But grants that the government receives is an income. That's why it's on the credit side. That's why it's on the credit side. Next thing is what? Fees, penalties, and forfeitures. It will also come under non-tax revenue. Fees, fines, and forfeitures. How much?
250.
215. Hey, Basidium.
We have recoveries of loans and that one will go to the
Recoveries of loans and advances. What's that?
it goes to the is it it's an income.
Mm-hmm.
So it will go to the financial.
So it's part of the non-tax revenues. So the government gives loans from the central bank, okay, and advances. So it becomes more or less like a receipt for the consolidated fund. Like government, sometimes when government is broke, they will go to the central bank to go and borrow some money from the consolidated fund. So when the money is paid back, so recoveries, how much?
80,000.
80,000. Now, usually, let me contextualize this well for you as well. Recoveries of loans and advances, sometimes this is what happens. The word recovery means probably it had been written off, and now the government is what? Recovering it. So that is why it becomes an income.
Like bad debt.
Like bad debt. When you write off the bad debt, oh, Nhyira they make up, but Nhyira is now bankrupt, so Nhyira cannot pay me, so you write it off. But later on, you realize that Nhyira is riding in Rolls Royce, and the Nhyira 80,000. So once you do that, it becomes an income to you. That is why the recoveries of loans is an income here. Next one, external borrowing during the year. That's going to be under public debt. Okay, that's going to be under public debt. So let me not make it public debt. Let me just distinguish it because the BNI or domestic. So external borrowing. Okay, don't worry. Let me just put the two together. Public debt. External borrowing during the year. 190,000. Okay. We go.
Then we have trust funds.
Trust funds. What are trust funds? Trust funds are not income, they are liability. Okay? Sika, Crawford, buying sell fund to home. So that's a balance sheet item. To go to the statement of financial position. Thank you. So that's a balance sheet item. So please, I'm not going to bring it anywhere here, but asterisk it or something like that so that when we go to the balance sheet.
That's what I was thinking of the borrowing.
Yeah, the borrowing is also a balance sheet item. But the reason why I'm bringing it here is that probably there is another borrowing item. Then we can add it to the workings to get a total public debt. But the trust, no, I know there is no information about it again, but we will continue. If there is another information, we'll do a workings for it.
Then we have the travel per diems.
Travel per diem. That goes under one of my favorite workings of all time in public sector, that is goods and services. Or if you want, admin expenses.
Admin.
Yes. Travels and per diem.
Yes.
Is that a spelling?
is travel per diems.
Okay, like this.
So N is not there. N.
Travel. Okay, how much?
1, 3, 4, 5.
345,000.
So all the ones that we have done that was on the credit side, income.
Yeah, some were income and some were liability. The trust fund like this, I told you, is a liability. The external debt is a liability. Because I told you that, yes, I told you that the things on the credit side could be an income or a liability. And the things on the debit side could be an expenses or what? An asset. So this is an expenses, goods and services. It's an expenses. Go.
Then we have repayment of external borrowing during the year.
Repayment of external borrowing during the year. Okay, so you borrow money and you are repaying. This is how much you borrowed, isn't it?
Yes.
So repayment of the loans, how much?
85,000.
85,000. That will be less. We will deal with that later on. Remember our asterisk, this one.
Then we have loans and advances granted during the year.
Loans and advances granted during the year. That is a balance sheet item. It means these are the loans that the government received from the Consolidated Fund. So that will go under trade receivables in the balance sheet. So please, asterisk it and do something about it, because I'm not going to have it here. Because if you don't get it right, our balance sheet is not going to balance. So the loans and advances granted during the year, which is on the debit side, 200,000, is trade receivables. Trade receivables. I don't know, maybe the opening balances given, was there trade receivables there? We're giving some opening balances. Loans and advances. Property, plant and equipment, financial asset, external debt.
We have payables.
Okay, so there is loans and advances there, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we have to do workings for that. We have to do workings for that. Okay, you let's skip because of my board. I'll do the workings for that later on. Let's continue with the items. Next one.
Financial investments during the year.
Okay, do we have financial investments also in the opening balances? Yes, we do. I think the grant is done, right? Is the grant done? Just can't read and see if the grant is done. In the items given there.
So every grant, they write the grant right, or there must be something that you have to do as a grant.
If we receive, if it's on the credit side, yes, there is a grant that we have received, so they will write grants by it. That's all, only these two. The reason is that I need a space. Now, I'm going to breach out my numbering a little bit. This is 6, I'm going to bring 7 here. When I write in, you know how to write. Now, I'll bring loans and advances here. And I want you to stay with me here. So what is the opening balance? Balance brought forward. Give me the opening balance from note 1 for loans and advances.
28,000.
Are you sure? Is it not the 100,000?
It's 28.
Are you sure?
So which one is the payables? Any payables there is 10. And the 100,000.
Check it well. Should be the 100,000. So that's the opening balance. Then you go back to the thing you read earlier, that loans and advances granted during the year. Okay? So during the year, how much was that?
We are going back.
In the trial balance.
In the trial balance.
The loans and advances granted during the year. 200,000. Good. Now these are balance sheet items. Okay? These are balance sheet items. So we will add it to it. Next item is what? Financial